Welcome back. I'm your host. I'm Attorney Steven Leahy. This is the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560.
The Answer.
Here with Deborah Shriner, Jim Leahy, and our very special guest, Larry Smith. And let's go into our next segment, Deborah.
It's the blog segment. The blog. The blog.
And as you know, on this blog segment, I generally will talk about what's going on in my office and the kind of cases. But today, we're going to talk about what's going on in Larry's office and what kind of cases he is. So maybe you can recognize yourself or a friend in this, and then you know who he can help, that he can help you. You know I can help you if you have tax problems. But now you're going to find out when Larry can help you. So tell us about a good case.
So we've got, here's a situation we're seeing a lot lately, a same name kind of situation. When you have a same or similar name with somebody else, could be a family member. In one of our situations, it's a grandson and a grandfather, and it could be a complete stranger. And in one of our situations, it is. So I've got these two. One gentleman, he is an innocent young man who lives in the city, and he's looking for a job, very simple jobs, working in warehouses. Unfortunately, there's another person out there with the same name and birth date.
Oh.
Well, if you think about it, if you have a very common name, there's a chance that somebody else not only has that name, but might have been born on the same day, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's only 365 days, right? So same birth date. And the other one, not my client, is a habitual felon, drug dealer, armed, carries a gun evidently when he's not supposed to.
Doesn't have good credit.
Does not have good credit. So my client goes to look for a job, and as you might know, when you go to look for a lot of jobs, they want to run background reports on you now and do background checks. And this, people don't realize this, but we talk about the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and you think about your credit reports and what's on your credit. And when you go apply for a job, yes, in most instances, they could look at your credit. But they could look at more than that. Mm-hmm. And the Fair Credit Reporting Act doesn't just limit itself to credit reports. It's all kinds of reports that touch upon your character, your reputation, your mode of living, things like that.
I did not know that.
The Fair Credit Reporting Act covers more than just credit. It covers mode of living, reputation, general characteristics. All those things.
I did not know that. So I have a friend asked. He's looking for his ex-wife, and she lived down in Florida. Right? We were talking about LexisNexis earlier, and he says, I can't locate her. I said, well, let me go. Blah, blah, blah. 3 minutes later, I had all this information about her.
Tons,
right? It's amazing.
Frightening.
Yeah,
frightening how much you could find out about somebody. Well, unfortunately, sometimes you're getting information about somebody else, and you don't realize it. So this person goes and applies for the job, and sure enough, it comes up he's a felon, and they don't give him the job. And so we go to work. We know he's not the guy, and we know that they used they didn't properly match data when they were given this guy's application. They just kind of loosely matched it. And so we went up against that background reporting company, and we pursued them in court, and we sued them. We got a very good result for the guy. Great case. Yes. Now what happens?
Because that's damaging, right? I know. I didn't get the job.
I mean, you got lost income. Just that's the start.
Yeah.
How about the humiliation of somebody looking across the table at you and thinking, "Oh,
you think you're going to work here?
Yeah, here's a young African American man who's been in prison, who's got a gun charge, who's got an assault. Oh, it's you, and it's the guy's sitting there going, I've never been arrested in my life, and they go, yeah, sure. So you got this, that internal, frustration
That's
that
terrifying.
one would feel, right? So so. Obviously, all that stuff is damages, and as I mentioned before, he gets attorney's fees, so he doesn't have to give me a cut of the pie. I go after them, and I get exactly what this guy deserved, and they had to pay our fees as well. 2 months later, so this is great, evidently the other guy got out and was on parole or whatever, and within months, does it again. Gets pinched, gets arrested for selling and with a weapon, right? And my guy's back out looking for work. What happens?
Really?
And they look at it and they're like, we can't hire you. You were just arrested. Like, like a month ago. And he's like, no, obviously I'm sitting here and that guy didn't make bail. He's in jail. He's like, I'm obviously not him. I'm here in front of you. How could I, I can't, I'm not in jail. So the same name situation. So a second time. So
talk about a reoccurring nightmare, huh?
Well, for him, it's a reoccurring nightmare. And I hate to say this as a lawyer, but I'm going to say it. As a lawyer, it's a reoccurring gem because we're like, oh, my God, we get the same exact case again. We did so well on it the first time. We're going to do so well again. It's like we've already counted this one. So, So taking that to another situation with credit reporting. A young man went out. Go ahead. Sure.
I would say, you said as a lawyer, it's good that it's a gem, but for him, it's good too because he's going to have a remedy, right? And so yeah, it's a nightmare that this is happening to him, but that's why there's a remedy for him.
I guess there's a balance there, right?
Because that's why you get a remedy.
There's a balance.
Because bad things happen to me. It's not my fault, and you should, and it's your fault, and you should make me whole.
Right? Do you remember? It's like that thing. Remember Beverly Hills Cop, the movie, the first one with the comedian with the whiny voice?
Eddie Murphy?
No, but there was a one scene with the comedian who they went into his office. Gilbert Godfrey was in that, and there was one scene. Is there something I could put in this hand that can make that hand you go, what's that? I don't even know. I got this right here. What's in this hand? I'm not even looking. It's that kind of thing, right? It's like this terrible thing he's got here that it's so frustrating. But then he comes to the lawyers and he's got a remedy, and we take care of him. And he goes, oh, I got something over here. I guess I'm okay with that over there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's how.
Of course, that's why we have these remedies, right?
Right.
And also to encourage them not to do it again. So usually after they get hit like this, they repair their situation and try to make it not happen again. But I guess they don't try that hard.
Thank goodness, because if they did and they really fixed it, then that would take a whole cachet of cases away from it. That's the arrogance of these larger outfits. They just would rather cause this trouble and pay rather than than try to avoid the trouble. There's a cost-benefit analysis they have to go through, too. I mean, you're looking at it's very difficult to do that kind of matching. I mean, we do understand to a certain extent that when somebody gets arrested, they're not handing over their Social Security number to the cop, Not
willingly.
So it's right. Well, they're just not getting it. In fact, the police officer's probably not getting the guy's real name half the time, right?
That's
so,
true.
if you've ever seen a rap sheet on somebody, the name kind of goes through like this metamorphosis, to a completely different name. So they do that, and ultimately they find out who they are when they fingerprint them. And if they're repeat, they fingerprint them. Okay, we know who you are, but they don't have their social.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have the date of birth. So somebody applying for a job who turns over his social, date of birth, addresses, all these things, if they don't match addresses, they probably should. But they don't match socials, and they can't. So there is a certain difficulty that they're going to face, and they have to go through an entire upheaval of these computer systems to do it. They have to sit and wonder, how much is that going to cost us versus how much are we paying these lawyers and these people all the time, every time we get in trouble.
Well, again, if they figure out that it's better not to do anything, then they're just going to pay when damage happens. And that's what, of course, this when they like when McDonald's got hit with the burn victim, and everybody throws that out because McDonald's kind of did this cost-benefit analysis, said, we're going to burn so many people, it's going to cost us, we're going to continue burning people.
Right.
And then that's why they got hit with this big award, because now it's not cost-effective.
Right. Now, you deal with debt collection agencies a lot in your line of work, and I do too. We deal with them all the time. And I remember once I was just kind of reading up on one of them to see how much money they, we're suing them so much. I mean, could they really withstand all this litigation from all these lawyers all over the country? We saw their prospectus in their SEC filings, and they were like, we're paying about 30, 40 grand a year in settlements of these cases. It's no big deal. We don't care.
They don't care.
It's nothing. It's we don't care.
But that's a very. I'm glad we talked about this because I was not aware of the scope of that law. And the Fair Debt Collection Credit Reporting
Fair Credit Reporting Act.
And now we're running out of time. Do you happen to have a phone number people can contact you at?
Try me at 888-822 888-1777. That's 888-822-1777.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you got a lot of information out of that. If you have any other questions, remember, call Open Tax Resolution 312-664-6649 or visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub to help fight the IRS. Now, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned, because after the commercial break, we're going to be coming back at you with more IRS Radio Hour, okay? On AM 560, The Answer.